All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. Well, okay, George Floyd. George Floyd, I just, I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. And George Floyd was the guy that was killed yesterday by the Minneapolis Police Department. Um, and I guess they said he was wanted for forgery. I don't know how that warrants having to kill a man. Uh, and once again, the whole "I can't breathe." He was down on the ground. He was subdued. He was already handcuffed. He was, you know, nowhere to go, nowhere to run, anything like that. He was surrounded by the police, but yet still they killed him anyway. So I want to talk about the difference. There's some differences in between white supremacy and white nationalism. Okay, white supremacy is just like everybody who's a white supremacist is not necessarily evil or anything like that. They just feel like they're better than everybody else. It is a lot of people in all different races that feel that way. There are Asians that feel that way. There are black people that feel that way. Um, so, but I don't subscribe to any supremacy. I think that everybody is basically the same. Um, but then we have this thing of white nationalism. And when Donald Trump came into office, of course, and I've said this before, talked about it before, but he had Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon basically ran his campaign and basically told him what to say and what to do. And the thing about white nationalism or white nationalists is that they believe that the country is theirs and that they believe that nobody else should have any rights in this country but them. That's what they believe. So that's their core base. So that's why when the election was coming around, everything was geared towards that's where you get the rhetoric of shithole countries. We need good people coming in from, and he listed some European countries that we would rather have people coming from here or people coming from there than having people come from these shithole countries. We don't want people from Haiti or Jamaica or from Africa or anything like that. The same thing with the whole thing with the border wall, fueled, of course, by white nationalism. The white nationalists, that's like one of their rallying cries. Well, you guys go back to your country. You speak English. You do this. You do that. Yeah, we have a situation here at the border. We've got all these Mexicans and trying to invade the country. We've got little children right now in jail cells that have been separated from their parents for years now at this point, and slowly but surely it all vanishes into the dust. Nobody can remember stuff like that. And then the same thing, and then finally, even the situation with Puerto Rico. The situation with Puerto Rico, our president doesn't even recognize Puerto Rico as being a part of the United States, which it is. He talks and responds to them like they're just like they're another country, like they don't exist and they're not part of us. Anybody that's non-white and anybody that's or non-European or non-Caucasian, he doesn't want anything to do with them. And the United States, and his basically his policy is the same thing with the rhetoric right now towards China and towards every other country. The rhetoric is basically blame things on China. But once again, like I told y'all before, the rhetoric is false, because if you look in the historically at China, China has never been an aggressive country. They've never been aggressive, even though they could be. And if they were aggressive, they could wipe us out, at the drop of a hat. They got nuclear weapons, and they have 5 times as many people as we do. So that so and but they've never taken steps to try to attack anybody or anything. So it's out of character. And now to start all this stuff with China, you know, and the only and I'm gonna tell you something else. The only reason why he's doing it with China is because he understands and they understand that China is not that type of country. Now, he wouldn't do the same thing with North Korea because North Korea will pop off. They'll try to fight back. You know, and so you got, and then you have the travel bans. All of the travel bans are aimed at Muslims or Islamic nations. All of the travel bans, they're all, that's what they're aimed at. They're aimed at, non-white people. Uh, um, even all of the any type of thing that they have to do. If you notice, none of it is aimed um, at any of the white countries. And even at the point where it was kind of known that Russia had interfered in our elections and all that, nothing has been done about that. Nothing has been said about it. And so I want you to get a clear picture and a clear understanding of what white nationalism is. And that's what it is. They want this country to be exclusively for white people. All of the stuff, once again, Native Americans, Indian reservations, all that, Trump has constantly, he allowed that in the Dakotas. They allowed the pipeline to go through. They got a conflict up there right now. They allowed all these oil pipelines and all this drilling and all this other stuff to go on. The same thing where they're building the border wall. They're digging up burial grounds. They're ancient burial grounds that have been there for centuries. They're just digging these people up without any regard, for their feelings at all. I mean, okay, so what do we went through? Some of the white cemeteries and dug all their people up. Same thing they do in Egypt. Same thing. It's the same thing. You don't disturb burial grounds. You don't insult the dead. You let them rest in peace. And so, but that's what I want you to see. So they believe. So their belief is that the United States of America is for white people only, and that everybody else here is either to work for them or to be their servants, or to be, subordinate to them, and then to basically cow to them and bow down to them, and that's what they believe. And that's why even with this COVID-19, the whole thing with COVID-19, they wanted to put a black face on it, so that it would be less harmful. That's how come you got these people attacking the state capitol, going to the state capitals with guns and weapons and stuff like that, but nothing happens to them. When they go up there, they're white. They're armed. They're heavily armed, and they're white inside of state capitol buildings. Now, what do you think would happen if a bunch of black men entered into a state capitol building with guns? Ask the Black Panthers. So I just want you to understand what we're dealing with. Now, here's the equalizer. The only equalizer that we really have is the fact that now we do have social media, and the fact that when things happen, we can call it out. It's not, unfortunately, it's not preventing it from happening, but it is basically ringing the alarm and letting people know that this kind of stuff is happening. So all of these, all of these things that are happening, basically, they're being recorded on video, or the information is being able to get out there. Just like when the young black man was killed, jogging in Georgia, and then over the weekend, I mean, we could still say over the weekend we had the Caucasian woman in the park in New York who falsely accused a black man of trying to attack her, and that could have got that man killed. And this kind of stuff goes on all the time. We had a youth, I think it was a youth pastor that said that that said that some black men coerced him or whatever into doing some harm to some children. We got all kinds of stuff, and so the only thing that's really equalizing this stuff is social media right now. If it was not for social media, all of this stuff would have been you know would have been swept under the rug, especially Ahmaud in Georgia. We would, if that video wouldn't have surfaced, we would have never known what happened. Because look, the district attorney, that lady, she wasn't going to prosecute them at all. She never even arrested them. She told them to go home. And then the thing about that is, and this is what I was talking to my family about the other day. I was saying, well, how many people have been falsely accused, ever since, Emmett Till, we can carry it back as far as you want to go. But how many people have been falsely accused, murdered, incarcerated, whatever, lynched, and we don't know. And I think that in the Ahmaud Arbery case, especially, I think that every case that man that father when he was an investigator, every case that he handled should be reopened and reinvestigated to make sure that because we don't know. Look at his character. He's a bad character person, and they're out there running vigilante squads and doing everything else. We don't know what's going on. We have no clue. So but and then here's the other problem, where you have a white nationalist as the president, and who was impeached, by the way. And this is the other problem that we have: the president was impeached, but his cronies didn't remove him from office. Remember what happened, and so now he's unchecked. We have a president that's there who does not follow the rule of law, who is unchecked. And basically that's saying, look, the laws of the United States don't really matter. And somebody, the only Mitt Romney was the only Republican that voted against, and that's why I keep telling y'all that voting is important, because if we would have had the majority of senators, Trump would have been removed. If there would have been, people want to talk all this stuff, but we have a two-party system. So you got to go in, you got to dig into one or else. And right now, the only one that we could probably get any leeway in is the Democratic Party. And I know everybody wants to talk about it, but right now, and that's why I keep telling about these elections, it's like they were talking about 30% of all of the judges, circuit judges, who have life appointments, federal circuit judges that have life appointments, are Trump nominees. So what do you think you're going to get? We know that we have a huge problem with, child trafficking, pedophilia, homosexuality, even in the church. And I'm talking about rape. I'm not talking about consensual stuff. I'm talking about people being molested and everything else. And I guess you could say Malcolm was right. The chickens are coming home to roost, because these are the things that have been manifested. That's their manifest destiny, and it's trickling over into our communities as well. We're the victims. We can't even live. A man can't go running. A man can't walk down the street. You can't do anything but land of the free and the home of the brave. Well, you got to be brave to be free in this country. And then finally, all of these killings, those are lynchings. Those are just modern day lynchings. Lynch somebody, have a picnic, we lynch a black man publicly, let everybody see that we killed him, so that they can keep black men in order and in line. That's what it is. There's no need to make it out to be more than really what it is. And that's what it is. And I admit this morning, when I saw that, I was sad. I'm a little bit of an empath anyway, so it just bums me out. But anyway, as football coach would say, keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes open, keep your head up, and be careful. Anyway, that's Fast 15 Minutes. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I love you all.